I'm the pastor at Tracy United Methodist Church, and I am the co-spiritual entrepreneur of The Gathering at Mountain House.
And tell us a little bit about The Gathering at Mountain House.
The Gathering at Mountain House is a wonderful blossoming community in which my family is living on the top floor of the house, and the bottom floor is the church.
So it's an actual house in a community.
It's a house in a community. The community is a master plan community with about 3,000 residents and no church. And so as my husband and I were driving through the neighborhood, we said there needs to be a church. And so from there began the seeds of what would be the Gathering at Mountain House.
And so how does the new church, the house church, interface with the existing church in Tracy?
The interface between Tracy and Mountain House is really interesting. We have quite a few of partnerships that are taking place, one of which is with the Tracy community. And so they pay for, our housing is paid to, the pastor's housing is paid to pay back the loan for the house in Mountain House. And they have gotten us up and going and have been supportive in their gifts, their time, their treasures, their talent, and their witness.
So what's the plan for the new community?
The new community will be a gathering place all over the city of Mountain House, in which we'll be able to express God's love to a community that doesn't have a church.
Now, you know, I'm kind of a Scrooge sometimes. So how does this work? How are the neighbors feeling about an actual faith community being developed in the house, in the neighborhood?
What's interesting about the Gathering in Mountain House, one of the reasons the house that we are in right now is so great is because we're right across from the high school. And it's an alley home, and so the front faces the high school, so we have no neighbors on that side. We're on an easement on one side, so we have space on that side. And then our neighbors, it's a brand new house that was built, and so our neighbors haven't yet complained, but we're in an unincorporated area, and so there is just advisement that can be given. But one of the reasons that we're able to work so well is because this is our primary residence. And so we live in this house, and we host Bible studies, we host mini retreats, we host visitors and volunteers from all over the conference.
As you think about, as we talked about before, making disciples of Jesus Christ for the transformation of the world, and how do you see the new community fitting into that?
I am so clear that this new community is changing the way that people interact with the Methodist Church. We're in a commuter community, so people have been in their cars for 2 additional hours plus work each day. And so by the end, the last thing that they want to do is to get in their car and drive to church, because Mountain House is a community that's built with the new urbanism where everything's in walking distance. And so we're within walking distance of our whole community. That allows people to meet regularly in their parks or in the Gathering, where they're able to come together, have a faith community in their community where there was no church before. And I'm not talking there wasn't a United Methodist Church. There wasn't a church at all in this community.
So how do you feel about being the first church to go in and trying to break ground in what we in California? I mean, it's not necessarily a faith, the biggest place for church planting. So how do you feel about breaking ground, going in, being the first?
Breaking ground in Mountain House has been absolutely fabulous. We've gotten support from our Facebook page and our community around that. People are really excited about what are the possibilities. People who are looking for Bible studies, people who are looking for a place to meet new people, because these people have all moved from somewhere else. So they've left their communities at home, they've left their churches, and they're looking for a place to develop their faith. And we're really excited about giving the possibility of allowing that to happen with us.
What else would you like for folks in our annual conference to know about what's brewing?
I think what's most exciting about Mountain House is that it can be done anywhere. The Gathering at Mountain House could be the gathering anywhere. With master plan communities popping up all over our state, it's very easy to buy a house, live in it, and have a faith community right there. It's an opportunity that is low risk and high commitment. And I think anybody who's willing to jump in full feet and commit themselves to this project can make it successful. And we're really excited about it.
Do you think it's a model that can work in neighborhoods that are already existing?
I think that would be trickier with an already existing neighborhood. Part of the reason what will happen for us is because we were able to pick out the perfect house for this location where our visibility is really high. Mountain House has one high school, and we're right across from it. It might be more difficult in a community that's already established, where neighbors have lived there for 50 years and don't want a church moving in. When you move in Mountain House, you'll know that we're a church and we're there. And so you decide before you're purchasing your house if you want to live next to us or not. And it's also growing as a community. And so people are looking for those connections. In an already established community, it's a little more difficult because people already have those connections made.
How do your kids feel? Do they have an awareness of kind of what's going on? Or?
Our kids are very aware of what's going on. We tell them whose house, and they say our house. Our house is upstairs. Whose house? God's house downstairs. And so if they start jumping on the couch, I said, God does not want you jumping on your God's couch. And so they immediately, no toys are allowed downstairs. All of that is upstairs in our house. But God's house is clean and kept up and not like our house.
Anything else you want us to know about God's house on the first floor?
You're welcome in God's house anytime. There's comfortable couches, and there's always a place to gather and come together as a community.
Anything else?
Thank you.
Good job.
Thank you.
Makes me want to come over there.
You can come.
We have a